This is a sign that you need to let yourself go. And then the version of you coming out on the other side will be the authentic version of you. Imagine you're going through a devastating global pandemic, far worse than COVID, far deadlier than COVID. You know what? Let's just make it a zombie apocalypse because it sounds cooler. A zombie invasion. Not something you want to go through, but it does sound cooler from a science fiction perspective. To get to safety, you decide you will isolate yourself from now on in an underground bunker. You have all the resources you need there, but you're gonna be alone. There's no issue with that because the priority is safety. There's no way you could live in the outside world that's roaming with zombies. So you isolate yourself in there and you spend all your days alone. As time goes on, you realize that your life is boring. You just hate the experience in there. So you take some courage and you open the gate to check whether there are still zombies on the outside. And unfortunately, the world is full of zombies still. You can see them in the distance, walking by and being scary. You close the gate immediately and you return to safety. You decide you need to give it more time. So you wait, and you wait, and you wait for years and years and years. You always do your regular checkups to see if there are still zombies on the outside, but every single time you open the gate, you can at least see one zombie in the distance. So you decide to just give it even more time, but after a while you realize that you completely hate your experience. You are bored, you are going insane, you can't stand the loneliness anymore. It's so boring and you realize that you would rather have a bit of an adventure before being killed by these zombies rather than just being sat there in an underground bunker for the rest of your days. So you open the gate and you step outside for the first time in so many years. And to your surprise, it's quite peaceful. It's quite silent. There are no zombies around. You check it up to make sure it's safe, and you can still see a zombie like figure in the distance. So you take some courage to approach it because there is no way you're returning to the prison. And as you get closer to it, you acknowledge that it's nothing more than a scarecrow. It's been a fake monster that you've been spotting for so many years, and you've been hiding inside the bunker for way too long. The zombie invasion is over and has been over for quite some time now, so you've been wasting years of your life, when in fact you didn't even need to. You are so frustrated, you are so angry at the situation, but at the same time, you can't help to feel extremely relieved. You are happy that you have your freedom. You see, our social situations are quite similar to this zombie science fiction story. We are shy and introverted, and this is our bunker. When we are young, when we are children, we were in a social war zone. We were surrounded by bullies. We needed this bunker of introversion, of shyness. That was our safety zone. That was the only way we could go on and continue to live our social lives without going insane, without taking decisions we would end up regretting. This was our safety. This was completely necessary in the past. The issue is that we keep living with the illusion that the bunker, this shyness, this introversion is still needed. That is limiting us and that is dragging us down massively. Now, most people just stay stuck for the rest of their lives and they just choose to cope living their lives inside the bunker forever. If you want to get outside of this bunker, then I can help you personally. I have a link in the description and you can just book a free call with me and I will get you through the process. The only thing separating us from our ideal lives is our attachment to our identity. We see ourselves as the shy person, the introverted person, the one that's messing things up every single time. And this is not only true for our social life, but for every single area of life, for health, for wealth. We imprison ourselves in this thing we call an identity. And this just makes it impossible for us to ever escape it. A very popular saying is that you are both the prisoner and the prison guard, or that you are both a parent and a child. Like basically, your identity, your mind is split in these two parts that are in conflict every single time. A part of you wants you to escape and to be free and successful, but then a part of you just gets panicked every single time you step outside the prison cell. You can imagine the prison guard version of you as a paranoia freak. For that version of you, every single moment you spend outside the prison cell is a near death experience, and it wants the best for you. It's not keeping you there to punish you, it's keeping you there to keep you safe. You need to convince the prison guard that it's safe to get on the outside, that there is no need for you to keep living the rest of your life in the bunker, in the prison cell. So the way you do this is through letting go. You could say that you need to let go of the walls of the prison cell, but that's a bit too vague and that's nothing more than a nice analogy. What you need to let go of is the resistance, the attachment you have to this identity. You see, whenever you step out of this comfort zone, which is your prison cell, you feel a lot of social tension, a lot of resistance, because it's just not something that's part of you, right? Your identity, your ego, the prison guard, they all scream, go back inside. So there is a lot of resistance you're feeling to behaving in any other way than the one you're used to. Now, the way to actually embrace this resistance and the way to heal it is to just sit with it. You see, most of us have the default idea, the default urge to run away from this resistance. It's basically the worst feeling we could feel, and we just want to escape it as soon as possible. Most people just run away from it, and the moment this tension arises, they are just miles ahead already because they just don't want to face it. If you don't face it, it just persists. And it can basically persist forever if you don't treat it. But then the way to actually treat it and to embrace it is to make a U-turn, to literally go ahead and approach it and stay with it. If this resistance, if this negative emotion and fear would be your crying and hurt child, what you would do is you would hug them and stay with them until they're healed. But for some reason, we just want it to be over. You are a very bad parent if you're putting it this way, right? Because instead of staying with your child until they are good enough, until they are feeling well, what you're doing is you're either running away from them and letting them deal with their own issues, but they are dependent on you, and their own issues won't ever be fixed on themselves, on their own. Or you just go and hug them for a while, but you just hope that they will be healed, that everything will be solved as soon as possible because it's uncomfortable and you don't like it. This never works. The only way is acceptance. Acceptance of the uncomfortability, acceptance of the resistance. The only way is through. Practically, what this means is let's close your eyes and picture yourself having to hold a public speaking event in front of 1,000 people. Imagine the room in all its details. Imagine the people being placed in every single chair, in every single spot, all of them just waiting for your words, all of them just being curious to hear what you have to say. You can just feel a bit of tension being formed already. That is exactly what you have to go towards, not away from. Most people just try to cope with it, to seem like they're more confident than they actually are, to seem like they know everything better than they actually do. All of these to just convince themselves that there is no need for tension. But our intelligent brain doesn't agree with our emotional brain all the time. In fact, the way to treat your emotional brain and to heal it and to hear it is to stay with the emotions, not to think about the emotions. That does nothing for you. A good indicator of success is the feeling of relief, the feeling of freedom. That's when you know you've made a bit of progress, you are a bit more free now. with your entire soul, with your entire body, there is a bit more peace between the prison cell and the prisoner, sorry, and the prison guard. And your inner conflict starts dissipating the more you do this. This is basically the practice of letting go, and it's extremely powerful. As I said, everyone is just focusing on the logical part of things, of how we can think our way through our problems, but there is so much value in feeling our issues as well. And that's where a lot of people fail, and that's why they never ever step outside the bunker for good. They are just afraid of the scarecrow masquerading as a zombie, and they will never take this first step. But you have the knowledge, you know what you need to do. And once you do this practice, once you go through with it, you realize that a lot of the things you used to fear were nothing more than the paranoia amplified version of reality that the prison guard version of you saw. It's not a real danger. There is no social judgment that could do anything so horrible to you. You have nothing to lose, so you might as well start acting that way. Now, if you want my personal guidance, as I said, I have a link in the description. You can just click it, complete a, a few questions that will help me get a better understanding of your situation, and then you can just book a free call with me. I will guide you through this process personally, and I will get you on the other side.